Yeah, I have a lot of cards on this one. This is Duck Street Theater, Charleston, South Carolina haunting reading. So I have every single type of card possible for a reading like this. I do have cats too, so that's a thing. So Duck Street Theater um, is not really located on Deck Street. It is actually on Church Street. And it is another quirky fact about the theater is that one time it actually was a hotel. And this is now a long-lasting surviving antebellum hotel. It has been burned down in 1740. I want to say 1940 because like the spirit that's talking to me is trying to make it more recent because of how like modern day it was for them to have like a building burn down, but I'm not falling for it. So in 1740 and was rebuilt in 1780 because of funding, and just a small portion of the original theater exists, and that's what I took a picture of, and that's what is in the thumbnail. Um, and that's when it's all glorious, but usually it kind of looks a little rundown. But yeah, it might need some maintenance. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Page of Swords, and we have the Justice card in reverse. We have the Three of Pentacles, and we have the King of Wands, all in this row right here. I'm going to do it row by row because it is a theater. I'll get to the keep a lookout also. So, so mature and responsible, reasonable, patient, persistent, organized, dependable, confident, and spirituality. So these spirits are kind of like run of the mill, like old timey theater goer like people. They would be like the ones that greet you at the ticket counter and at, the usher that would have like a flashlight or a torch or something to allow you to go to the seats. So like you probably have like friendlier ghosts here, which is always fun. But let's see, seeing beyond the surface, a spy, vigilant, respect for authority, a person who will complete a task regardless of danger, insight, and transgression. So there is a spirit in here that's kind of a tattletale, kind of an authority for the police, more like a liaison in government. So might want to look out for that. Because you'll probably see some interaction or some taps or some things falling over and some things being moved around. Usually spirits like to move things around. I have a couple ghosts in my house because I do have cursed items that are in my house. So there's a lot of taps and there's a lot of things going on. So if you know Morse code, you can probably understand what they're trying to say. Because taps are a way of communication. So if you know if you know Morse code, then a great time to use it when you're spirit hunting. Anyway, we also have unfairness, falseness of character, prejudice, and intolerance, abuse. So there's somebody here who's kind of like old school. They would be called FUBUs. At least that's what I call them. It's a false sense of security. Like they're trying to fall in line with what is current in like trend. FUBU used to be a current trend in the 90s, so I like to use that as an overall, but you can call it whatever you like. It's more of a casual encounter of historic odds. So there's that, and then there's nobility, glory, great renounding or respect, a tradesman, worker, fun, art with artistry. So this this person that's in this theater haunting it also, there's an actor or painter or somebody that works on like tapestries. I'm getting a lot of tapestries. I feel like there might have been a kind of like a Macbeth play, and the tapestries that were made for this got burned in the fire. But I'm seeing them. They're like really intricate. They kind of look like they were made with like spider webs. Like it's pretty interesting. But not actual spider webs, but silk usually kind of represents a very fine silk fabric. So anything that's done in tapestry of a silk thing like that is very intricate and looks very nice. It actually looks very wealthy too. Um, so we have well intended but severe. See, an idealistic to the point of blindness, overly religious or intolerance, prone to aggravation. So there's somebody that's haunting this theater or outside of it that kind of didn't like the fact that people were actually liking theater stories more than Bible stories. And we've all seen that type of thing. But I feel like it got to the point of actually being like heresy or something, which is interesting. Some type of heresy. I don't really know. Like almost like gossip over dramatizing the situation as heresy. But we have keep a lookout. An opportunity is coming your way, but you will need to be alert and attentive if you are recognized. You'll need to get up early in order to receive its potential. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. So there's probably like ghosts that talk, and like they have like this voice that if you're near them, they'll whisper in your ear, that type of thing. But yeah, that type of ghost, which is not really scary. It's more advisable. It actually makes the trip worth it if you can have a ghost talk to you. So if you get that chance, I would take it. So love and accept yourself just the way you are. Nothing in your life needs to be fixed. Every aspect of you serves a purpose. You learn to accept that things are perfect just the way they are. So we have acceptance over here. So trying to adjust. So we also have wake up and get started. Now is the greatest time to start a new project. Your mind will soon be filled with countless ideas and possibilities. Wake up and embrace the time of action and process. So this is kind of a very motivational crew of actors and actresses that were in this theater. They always wanted to go to work. They always had the ambition to entertain the community any way they can. So they were probably street performers as well. So very interesting. So, if you know Morse code, you could probably write a whole book about this stuff. So we have courage. Have the courage to do what you know is right. Move forward with confidence and knowing that there are no mistakes, only experiences from which to learn and grow. So there's that. And then we have alarm. Alarm is if something is set, it sets off the alarm bells for recently to be sure of following your instinct. You need to proceed with care if it doesn't feel right for you. Trust that your intuition will be prepared to change your plans. So, when this theater hotel burnt down, a lot of the performers, I believe, were performing on stage. That's why the theater was the only thing saved. Um, and I believe there was some higher ups that were in this theater, so it was really prevalent to save the theater. But it was a hunch somebody had to have certain precautions put in line in order to save the theater, because this theater, everybody loves and all this stuff. So we have gift of giving. The gift of giving is a gift that comes back. We often receive just as much giving as the person whom we give to. But be careful not to give so much of yourself, and there is nothing left for you. You'll be left feeling drained and a lack of energy. So this group actually left a lot of themselves on the stage. I feel like they might have been overworked, or they might have been performing for survival. Because, doing anything in the public domain is actually very draining. So there's a lot that goes into that too. You have to kind of sleep well, and usually shows can last all night sometimes. I used to be in the theater circuit. I would actually write the plays, and so that we didn't have to do copyrights, but a lot of the plays were a lot of fun. And I did do a twist on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that was just total chaos. It was hilarious, but it was total chaos. Because people would keep coming through the wardrobe, and then they would be like, "This is not my jacket," and then they put it back, and then go out of the wardrobe, and it would just be total chaos. 50 people. We had to get a few people to come in on that, but it was just really funny. Some of the actors could do voices, so it was just really funny. So they would dress like the characters that they could do voices for, and it was just really funny to see Kevin Bacon come through, or Harry Potter come through the wardrobe and just be trying to cast spells and stuff, and made it snow, and the inconvenience and the convenience of that. But it was just really funny. It was just we had to rehearse all those, but we had to change the set as soon as certain characters would come on. I just think it would have been funnier if Elsa and Anna were part of the modern play that we put on. Would have been very funny to have a Frozen character come through and kind of crystallize the whole backdrop. It would have been funny. Light Snow from Harry Potter, that was really funny. But yeah. So, let's see. Moving on to the Six of Cups, the Page of Wands. We have the Devil, and we have the Seven of Pentacles, and we also have the World up there. So, let's do that. So, thoughts of childhood nostalgia, sweetness of harmony, the desire for the old without measuring the true worth of the past, at times the future. So, my memories, it's all part of the past. It was meant to, teach you, skills and being, really open with people. You can't say no to an improv performance, but you can say passive things that would move the narrative along. So, that type of thing. So we have Page of Wands, the loyalty of a true person a man who speaks well of others, an envoy, a messenger, or a stranger coming to help, intelligent, braver, of important news, usually good, and then we have complete energy of change, standing still to the point of stagnation, possibility of slow or partial change, with the proper surrounding cards, a close call, and an incident. So there might have been some people that had asphyxiation, a damage to their lungs, or they might have had trouble breathing or something after the fire. But I feel like a lot of people were treated for some of that stuff because I see a doctor. There might have been like kind of like an apothecary that kind of had cough drops of all things. And you can make cough drops with like syrup and like, hardening resin stuff. I believe that's called hard candy. So basically hard candy like cough drops with medicinal purposes. So worry especially about money, loss of innocence in a deliberate fashion. So there was some people here that lost children in this case. Probably a lot of families that had very young children that died of asphyxiation or being burned. I believe a lot of them had third, second, and first degree burns when they were discovered, and also asphyxiation. Because if the hotel burned down, it's like it would go up before it goes down, right? So, and a lot of children, like, that there was really no way to know, like, you shouldn't, like where do you exit through a building that only had one entrance and exit, that type of thing. And then we have perfection, Eden, fulfillment, the end of a path to wisdom, spirit and life, everlasting, a pleasant outcome in some cases. What might be if other warnings are obeyed, high magic. So, let's see. We have some divine feminines here. So I'm going to read all of them in a second. So, we have, I am marvelous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility. I am one with my soul. My soul is the legacy of love. At the center of everything there is light, and I am the light. I am that light, not, Okay, I am the eternal flame, and each day my light grows larger. So there's a orb, or many orbs, of young children in the hotel and the theater area, where it kind of is like chimes. If you see like really light orbs, you hear chimes. So there might be some children in there and they chime in order to speak. So these little orbs are buzzing around. They're going to be tiny little sprinkles of light everywhere. So the divine feminines, like the mothers and fathers that also passed away in this fire, protect these children. But the children don't know that they're stuck in limbo and they need to pass a certain realization that they have died, which they haven't done yet. So their parents are kind of waiting for them, and there is mother figures that want their children to go on to the next life. Okay, so that's important. My neighbor keeps mowing his yard like 8 times. Like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, I have the last bit of the journey, which is the Seven of Pentacles. Well, Seven of Wands. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have just all these. We have the Judgment card, the Seven of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Swords. So let's see if I can do this in 8 minutes. I also have channel messages, so this is great. Okay, the King of the Hill, brave person facing incredible odds. Business or competition debate, success. Bad faith, villainy, danger of self or spirit, loss of a friend or a treasured keepsake. Abandoned project, confession of all sins, accounting deeds, and thoughts of a new life, possibly the betterment of oneself, reward, and spiritual self. Warning, someone's unfair advantage, outcomes of conflict, and consideration of action. So somebody here is kind of like, I was the one that kind of did the wrong thing, or kind of pulled a Judas on the hotel, did the wrong thing. So worry especially about money, loss of innocence in a deliberate fashion, of course. We had that card with the seven of Pentacles here. So it keeps showing up, the Seven of Pentacles. I'll move it over here. And then we have the sorrow often of widowhood, intelligent with the knowledge of the darker side of the world. So one who has gone from happiness to failure. And then we have the channel messages. This is always great. So immature attitudes and behaviors, anything witchy, spiritual, or magical inside. And then we have building on an idea. So a business plan, funding, dangerous work. So somebody was doing work on the hotel. There was probably structural damage, and then it turned into a fire because electrical wires were crossed, I think. Government work and world politics, being in all around at work. I'm actually getting like a picture of somebody like working on a road, and it turns into a fire because like somebody like hit a gas line. So that might have happened as well. So there's unemployment, good company, feast, parties. That can also speak of high school sweethearts. So there was high school sweethearts here too, that went around this area. Benefiting from a bad situation, possibly of romance on the job, or meeting through work that leads to such things as finding the love of your life in the workplace or loving your job. And then finishing a group project, getting a new level on a project. You've been working together, promotion, overcoming a certain tedious nature at a job, hiring and recruiting, human resources, careers, organization and work, reaching out to an old friend, renewal of friendship, home where you can be yourself, a study that will take you far, complete change. You will become someone else in the same lifetime, stepping up in your career, overqualified, ambition, giving after going after big money, speak of business opportunities. So I think what this little theater has been through, these little spirits, they've actually seen the community and area that their theater hotel is placed, because they did rebuild the hotel, but it's called something different. and it's on the other side of the street. It's actually on Dock Street. But yeah, these spirits have seen the town grow, change, the um, people change, and kind of, live their lives. They've seen a lot of different things. They've seen people who are high school sweethearts like propose. They've seen friends reunite. They've seen somebody go from one identity in town to another identity when they come back for like Thanksgiving or Christmas. You could say that they went to college or they got their first job, or career, you know, and it changed their personality into a more mature person. But yeah, these little spirits, like they're in town, like they're street performers, most of them. So like they'll go around town and they'll see the change in fashion, the change in automotive vehicles, the technology change, which is interesting because you don't really think of spirits like knowing that much about what they're seeing, but since they're in limbo, I guess they're kind of sentient type spirits where they can see things and know what's happening and how their town's changed. But yeah, I find it very interesting. So it's a very unique perspective. It's under the planet of Uranus and like a Saturn based element. So like they're seeing everything with wonder. They're like, this is not the world that we came from, and they're kind of looking at it with more splendor than I think people that live in the generation do. So I think that you kind of have to look at the little things in your world because if you you know like I think 100 years ago they weren't it it was an entirely different world too because these spirits come from the 1700s. Everything was kind of Victorian and old, and there was a lot of um, you know very modest lifestyles in some cases. So seeing everything go on in high and low and different music, different clothings, different technology in general was like a big deal to them. Like they didn't know that the world that they started would continue growing and expanding, which is interesting to think of a sentient ghost, but I think that you do have to look at the small things in life to appreciate them. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off now and think about it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, later.